Hi folks, Bulldog here. In light of current events, I think we need to put on here at the beginning of this, we're going to do some pulled pork. But we want to send out our thoughts and our prayers for the President of the United States, Donald Trump, which has COVID and is currently in the hospital. Hopefully he'll have a speedy recovery. But we're going to head into pulled pork. So I hope you enjoy it. Hello friends, hope you're doing well. We're going to do some pulled pork. Now this is the night before. We got to get this thing ready. Okay, don't just develop and jump in the smoker. We got to really put some effort into this. So I've got me a knife here, and you'll see I've got a 9-pound pork butt, and boneless at that. We're going to put this here and open it up. I'm hoping, being boneless, we don't have to lose a whole bunch to fat. Hopefully they cleaned that up too, since they decided to make it boneless. We can get it out of the package. There we go. Let the old blood drop out. Got a bunch of it. All right. Yeah, we're going to lose a little bit. Let's set her down there, and that's where they took the bone out. Actually, I'm going to leave it, and we'll peel it off when we get to the, after we cook it. This should just peel back. We'll let some of that render out. So let's get us some towels. I'm going to dry this bad boy off a little bit. A little wet. Oh, sitting in all that blood. Or packing juices, whatever you want to call it. There we go. Whoop. Tear the joint up. Alright. Get all their juices off of it, because we're going to put our juices on it. Alright. Set in the sink there. Alright. Now, we're going to take and put her in here. Again, we wipe this old cutting board down. Put this bad boy over here. Again, with my favorite sauce. Alright, smear that on there. And this is what we're using today. You can see that butt rub. It is Bud Byron's, or Bad Byron's, it looks like. I'll let you look. That's what we're going to use. So I'm going to take and get her opened up here. Put some light on the subject. We're just going to put her on there. We're not going to go light. I want me a nice, pretty bark on here and some nice flavor to go with it. Pat that in like I always do. Let's see if we can get a hold of her here. There we go. A little my Worcestershire. I want it real thick in areas. And we're going to get all the sides. down inside that cavity there. We're going to put some flavor all the way in this thing. Yep, while we got it apart here, we'll just put some of this in here. Don't go too heavy, because you go in here, you just have a puddle of it. You don't want that. There we go. Now we put it up here. And we'll spread her out here. Let's see, we got that side. Let's flip her again and go up to here. I think we got enough Worcestershire ran down there, so just put us some here. I'm not going to go as heavy on the fat cap, because we're going to lose most of that anyway, so we don't need to go crazy on it. Here's my kitty over there. What you doing, Miss Piggy? All right, I think we got all that. Now let's do this. Put it down here. Goes a little more. I'm just going to cover this in Reynolds wrap and let it set overnight. I know a lot of people just dress it up and send it down the road. I'm not going to do that. I'm actually going to pretty her up here, and then I'm going to put it in the fridge overnight. Let them soak up all this stuff. Boy, you can smell the paprika and pepper in that rub. Here we go. I want a little more down here. Right there. As you can tell, I'm making sure that I get it all covered. But I'm not going to go too much more on that. I am going to flip it down like that. And I am going to go another round on the top. And it'll get soaked up pretty quick by that Worcestershire, which will soak down in it overnight. All right, there we are, nice and purty. We're gonna let her sit there and sweat a minute, clean up her mess, and then we're gonna put aluminum foil over it pretty tight, and then slap it in the refrigerator overnight. So that'd be where we'll be. We'll see you tomorrow. Okay. I headed outside. It's early. Oh. As early as the one we did, the brisket. It's early. Especially when you stayed up and didn't go to bed until 2 o'clock in the morning. And now you have to get up at 6 and start this. Let's get this thing rolling. Oh, we got to plug it in over here. Take a look at the yard. All right. Too early for that radio. Turn that crap off. All right. Start. Temperature. Preheat. Take off, big boy. Let's turn the light on. Get in here and get us some wood chips going. Alright. Yeah, we're going to take some competition blend here. And we want this thing to smoke pretty much all day, so let me put some of these in here and we'll be right back. Okay, we got her preheating, we got her all rolled up, ready to go. Got pellets in. In fact, got a few on the porch here. And got our water in there. So we'll get a cup of coffee and wake up. While we're waiting, since I haven't taught my coffee how to make itself, get this thing out. Let her sit here and warm up. I mean, that don't look pretty. Rip around and ready to go. Alright, we got about 45 minutes before we can get anything going, so let me get my coffee in and get me woke up. Alright, I'm going to show you what we did here. I did it off camera because I'm sure you can handle this. I'm not going to do you like some of them have to show you every little single item like you're a bunch of idiots. Alright, we just put her on a rack, put her in here, and put me a, really don't need the probe right now because I'm going for the bark more than the temperature right now, but I did go ahead and put one in it. And we got this one down here. Looks like we're not quite too, it's too early to tell. Looks like I'm about 225. It ain't started smoking yet, but give it a little bit. There was a lot of pellets in that box, so it may take it a few minutes to get going. But I got it set for 14 hours at 225. Which on this smoker, for some crazy reason, which I just did a review on it yesterday, we're in talks with Char-Broil. If anything changes, I'll let you know. But as of right now, you can watch the review. I'm not real happy with Char-Broiler, but sometimes you have to deal with what you got. So 225, I'm pretty sure it's, according to my information that I did yesterday, 225 is actually 250. So 25 degrees off. So that's what I was after, is 250. It'd probably take me about 9 hours. It's a 9-pounder, hour a pound. But I'm not going to go by temperature. When it gets up about 160, I'll wrap it in aluminum foil with a little butter and some apple juice, which you really don't have to have because this thing's going to put out a ton of juice. I'm going to put it in a pan. I'm not just going to wrap it in aluminum foil. When I wrap it, it will produce a ton of juice. You'll see. So for right now, it's just got to cook. Just let it sit there and let it do its thing. Let it get its smoke for about 4 hours. So we'll check back about every hour. All right, we're an hour in. We're looking at roughly 250, which is kind of where I wanted it. Starting to brown up a little bit. It'll take us a while, but we got nice, pretty smoke coming out. But this is going to turn the light off. We don't need that now. It's daylight, but that's where we're at. It's going to take a while. It takes a long while. This is just hour number 1 of probably what will end up being about 10 hours. So there we go. Well, here we are waiting. We're an hour and a half in. Let's just get into it. Of course, before we hit 6:30. I finally decided to roll out of bed and get this going. So we got it started about 7:15. 7 to 7:15. And now we're sitting here with dark circles under our eyes and doing what you have to do when you cook a big piece of meat. And I happen to be watching a video on Grandmaster of, well, no, we have to call him Grand Dragon J. This guy's a fucking moron. He says that if you drop a weapon, he's talking about the Louisville incident where one of his guys shot 3 people. That if you drop an AR-15 on its butt, that the bolt will swing forward and that automatically fires the weapon. He's full of shit, is what he is. That's how you charge the weapon. That's how you put the bullet in there. It's not how it fires, it's how it puts the bullet in. He's just a fucking idiot. But I don't want to get too much into that. But this is what you do when you're waiting. You just wait. There ain't no sense in messing with it for at least 4 hours. If you look at it and it starts starts drying out a little bit, you might want to spritz it. But I want it to get a decent bark on it, because I want to mix it in with it so it'll have some crunch, some bite to it. So we'll let it roll. Like I said, we still got about 2.5 hours before we even have to mess with it at all. Just let it sit there and get some smoke. So we'll get back with you in a little bit. Okay, we're at what, the 2 hour mark? We're showing dead on 250 there. It's hard to read, but it's actually got smoke going. I hate to open this, but I really don't have a choice. I messed up, and this thing is going to render a lot of juice. And this is going to make one hell of a mess down here on this pan. I hate to open it, because they say if you open it, if it's open, you're not cooking. But I really don't have a choice unless I want to clean up a mess. So I'm going to open it real quick. I'm actually just going to put these little pans underneath this thing. And that'll keep from getting this tray so filthy dirty. Let's check our water. Looks all right. We're smoking good. We're at 250. Actually starting to look really nice. We want to get a real good bark on it. Get it up there about 160 degrees internal before we wrap it up. I'm going to actually put it in a pan like these, but it'll be a large one. Then I'm going to put aluminum foil over it. With just I'll probably put a few pats of butter on top of it. And then throw it back in there. That way it'll have a little juice. But it's going to make its own juice. This pan, at the end, I'll show you, it'll be a lot of juice in this pan. That's why I use a pan instead of just wrapping it. Really don't have to do much to it. Like I said, this is hour 2. And like I said, I don't know if you can see that very well or not, but it's getting a nice color to it. It's got some bark started. I wish I'd have put a oven rack under it. I need some of those cooling racks. They're a meat rack. They're not for bread. The bread ones are real thin. I want the cross-cut ones. I need to find them. But, yeah, that looks pretty. And we're holding right there at 250, so this thing's actually, yesterday we tested it, and the temperature was amazingly off. I could not believe how far it was off. But today, I got it set on 250, and she's holding right on it, so give it a couple more hours, because we're at hour 2, so at least a couple more, and we'll check it. I got the probe in it. I got the thing in the house. Right now, we're about 72 degrees internal, so when it gets to about 160, we'll wrap it. So I'll be back in another hour. And I get this question a lot. People say, do you cook it fat side up or fat side down? Same thing with a brisket. It depends on your smoker. If you got a vertical smoker like I do, fat side down. What you want is the fat to protect the meat. Now, if you're cooking on a pellet side smoker, the horizontal smokers, where the heat comes in from the side and goes all around it, it doesn't really matter. You can do it fat side up if you want. But, like I said, if you're doing like I'm doing on a vertical smoker, you've got to have that fat cap down. That's to protect your meat, to keep it from drying out. So, just a tip. Hey, it's getting to be morning time here, or afternoon. At 10 o'clock, I guess that's what, 3 hours? Man, flies are horrible this year. But let's see if we can get you. We can't get you in there enough to see that. Let's take a peek real quick. I don't like doing it, but let's do it anyway. Yeah, she's getting a nice, pretty bark on it. Looks like she's Yeah, it's stuck on there pretty good. We might spritz it in an hour, but let's go see what the internal is. See what this thing says. I'd say we probably got another hour or so before we wrap it, maybe 2. And of course this thing's off. And it says 250, says it's 100 degrees, now it says 32. We'll give it a second here. I hate this damn thing. Come on, stupid. Well, as soon as it comes back up, I'll show you. Alright, here we go. We still got quite a ways to go. It says it's 105 internal. So, we got to go to about 160. So, it'll be a while. This is what we do on the wait time. We're playing golf. Okay. 10 minutes to 11. We're at 120 degrees internal. Let's go out and take a peek at it. We're going to move out here to the porch. Getting bored with Master Lao Shu beating my ass on Xbox. We're smoking really nice. Ooh, nice pretty bark. Take a real quick peek. Yeah, I think we're going to spritz that down just a little here in a second with a little apple juice and some Worcestershire mixed together. We'll be back in a minute. Okay, we're going to jump in here and see if we can wipe this off to check our temperature. Of course not. I have to get a scrub pad for that, I guess. But we're going to spritz this down a little bit. Because we don't want to get too dark. It'll moisten back up when we wrap it. But let me get a scrub pad and scrub that off. I want to see what the temperature is. We cleaned her up. It said it's actually 250 in there, shockingly, after the way I fought with it yesterday. But we're showing 123 degrees on the internal temperature, so we've still got 40 degrees to go. And it's 11 o'clock. We started this at 7. So it's going to be a little longer than I thought it was today. Because we're probably end up about 5 o'clock. 5 or 6 is the way it's going to look. So, but we'll see. We'll be back in about another hour. I want to add in there too. I do this cooking, and it's mainly for me and my friends that want to watch it. But I do this on a budget. And just to let you know, these big pieces of meat, I catch them on sale. This one I'm cooking right now is a 9-pound pork butt. I got it at GFS in Clarksville, and it was $1.99 a pound. So it cost me $18.62, I think it was, for this. So you can't beat that price for a piece of meat. You know, normally you get into the beef, you're talking $16, $17 a pound. But like my briskets, I waited till my brisket was down to, they were at like $5 a pound, and I can't afford that. So I waited till it got down to $2.49 a pound, and then I bought a big one, cost me $42. But that $42 fed me and my brother, like 4 kids across the road here, because they love to try anything I cook. They see smoke and they come running. The biggest one, well, he's not really the biggest one. We'll say oldest, because he's not the biggest. The oldest smells chicken wings, and man, he is here. I mean, he is Johnny on the spot. I get most of my stuff at GFS because they're package it in pretty good sized lumps, and I can eat on it forever. That's like my chicken wings. I fed me and the kids and my brother and my neighbor, and I got a 10-pound bag and only used 5 of it, so there's 5 more in the freezer. But this thing, or this brisket I had the other day, fed me, my brother, the kids, 4 kids across the street, my neighbor, and my neighbor's mom and dad. So it fed a lot of people, and that was for 3 days. We ate on it for 3 days. I had one little piece about yay thick that outlasted its usefulness that I had to get rid of. And what I do is I toss it out there in the yard, because we've got like 10 stray cats running around here, and they'll eat it up real quick. So, but that kind of gives you an idea. I won't fix anything that is real expensive unless somebody else bought it. Like we fixed a tri-tip. I don't know that I even aired the video because it didn't turn out very well. And my buddy Josh bought it. He can afford to buy that kind of stuff. I can't. We do chicken wings. I'm going to do hamburgers. I do reviews. You know, this is not going to be anything that you have to spend a lot of money on. The fish that I do is the ones I do on the grill and then I deep fry over there are $9 for a bag at GFS, and it's a big bag. Any place else you get like 3 pieces for like $9. Over there I got, I think for $13 I got like 10 pieces. And they're full fillets. They're not halves or pieces. And then also my salmon that I had that we did last week or a week before, the smoked salmon. I bought 2 pieces at Kroger's. It cost me $8. I went over to GFS and got theirs, and this is salmon steaks. And they were like 15 of them for $31. So it was well worth the price. And that'll do about 3 cooks. And that's with, like I said, me and my brother ate on it the other night, and Josh. And we still ended up having a piece left over that I ate the next day for dinner. So we stretch it around here. So just to let you know, when you go to cook this stuff, you can do it we're doing it on the cheap. We're not doing it expensive. Now, if you want to buy some meat and bring it over here and we'll play with it or film it, hey, that's great. We'll do that. If you want to buy something expensive. There's a nice sirloin out there that's about $60 that I'm just not going to pay that much for it. There's a lot of meats out there that you can get that are pretty expensive that I'm not going to do. You know, we're going to do hamburger videos. We're going to do smoked mac and cheese pretty soon. You know, we're going to try some more smoked baked potatoes. The first set I tried turned out perfect. The next set wasn't worth crap. But we're just toying around with the smoker. And then also we've got the flat top back here that we're going to play with and do a review on. As you've seen, I've done omelets. I've done breakfast sandwiches. Nothing expensive. I promise you, I will not do anything expensive unless somebody else purchases it. I'm disabled. I'm on a fixed income. I can't afford that crap. That's why we started this, was for people to, like we did the turkey soup. Still, I don't know what to call it, but that was just stuff we had around here. Canned goods and turkey, and, you know, we're going to do chili, and we're going to do chili pretty soon. It's starting to cool down. We're in September now, and I think all next week's supposed to be in the 70s. So chili won't be too far down the road. We'll have Great Northern beans, white beans, and white chili. That's coming up. We may do a full pot of beans, maybe a beef stroganoff. I do a different beef stroganoff that I think you'll enjoy. There's a ton of recipes, and anything you guys want to see that is within reason that I can afford, let me know. We'll do it. We do one of these a week so it doesn't, you know, break the bank. So just let me know what you want, and we'll see what we can do to take care of it. All right, we had to cut the temperature back a little bit to 230. The reason being, I don't know if you can see that or not, as the meat warms up, the temperature inside the smoker starts to warm up. And we got way too high, almost 300 degrees. So we're gonna let it cool back down a little bit. Okay, it's noon. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah. Getting a nice, pretty bark on there. Still got a little way to go before we can wrap it up though. Let's see what we got over here. If this thing's working. Looks like we're at 141. We still got about 20 degrees to go before we wrap it up. Folks, 1 o'clock, 6 hours in. Let's take a peek. We're at 250. I've had to fight with that. Man, that looks pretty. And I'm going to tell Charbroil one thing. If my meat turns out dry because of their damn smoker, we're going to have a very uncomfortable conversation. I've had to turn it down to 215 degrees to get it to 250 in that box. That is just plumb ridiculous. 155. We're getting close. And it's running right at 250. I've had to jack this temperature around to get it to stay there, but there's how much juice we've lost. Wait till we put it in the wrap. It's going to really gain some juice. Got about 5 more degrees to go. I got my color where I want it. Nice, stiff bark. Now, what I'm going to do, take me a little bit of this softened butter. You don't have to do this. This is just what I do. Anything I can do to add moisture to it, I'm going to. But this thing is going to drip crazy with moisture here in a few minutes. We're going to put us another dab of Worcestershire on here. And we're going to seal this bad boy up. Nice and tight. You can already feel that heat. There we go. Alright. Now, I'm going to put it back in the smoker and stick me a probe in it and go to 203 degrees. And then we'll be ready for a 2-hour wait. Oh geez, I hate the 2-hour wait. All right, we got her back in there all wrapped up, nice and pretty. Got a couple probes in it. We're showing right at 250. That's where I want it. I'm showing 160 degrees on the one that I really wasn't trusting too much yesterday, but we'll see what it does. It's in the thinner part of the meat. This one's in the thicker part and says it is 252. So we got a bunch of more hours to go and it's 2 o'clock. Just want to give you a little update. I'm going to tell you what, I've never tried a pulled pork on a smoker. I mean, I've done pulled pork in the oven with liquid smoke and it turned out decent. But this bad boy, I'm telling you what, you saw it a while ago, had the pretty little bark on it. I'm sitting out here right now, and I'm telling you, my lips are smacking. This thing smells amazing. If it tastes as good as it smells, I'm going to gain 10 pounds this week. Here, I went and lost 60 pounds, and I'm going to turn around and gain 10 of it back tonight. Jeez, this thing smells awesome. All right. Check it in. This one here says it's a 178 in there, but this thing has been notoriously wrong. Cooking at 250, but this thing is taking forever. I started at 7 o'clock. It should have been done by around 5 or so. And this one here, it says 172, but it just now came back on. I trust that thing as far as I can throw it right now. But that's where we're at right now. We still got to go to 203. We still got a way to go. All right, it's almost 5 o'clock, so it'll be 9 hours in about 10 minutes. I'm between 250 and 300, still wrapped up. This one here says I'm at 189. Like I said, that's not a very trustful one, but and this one here goes out quite a bit, but I trust it more than the other one. It says it's 183. So 9 hours for a 9-pounder. So it looks like it's going to be about 10 and a half hours. One thing you cannot do is go by time, because they say an hour per pound. This thing should have been done now, and it's not close to being done. It's still got, what, 20 degrees to go. So we'll get back with you when it gets there. All right. I tell you when I mess up and when something ain't right, but I think I screwed the pooch here. I'm at a little over 250. This one says 194. I moved the other thermal probe to the very center of the meat because I was curious why this thing was not coming up in temperature. It's staying at 194 and didn't want to come up. And the other one was showing 190 even and wouldn't come up. So I moved the probe to the very center of the meat. And look what I got. That worries me. What that could possibly mean is that even though I put this in the refrigerator on Monday, I didn't check it like an idiot, and it could have still been frozen in the center. So I may have really, really screwed this piece of meat up. The good part of it is some of it will be edible, and I only lost $18. So I'll end up losing about $5 out of it, because I'm probably going to lose 1.5 pounds in the middle. So that's where I'm at, because it is now coming up on 7 o'clock, and this thing should have been done 2 hours ago. I should have been able to eat by now. So, but I will keep you apprised of what happens. Okay, here's what we're doing to rectify the problem. I've jumped it up to almost 300 there. It come down 2 degrees here. But the 170 is now, that thing's so hard to see on camera, I can't tell if you can see it or not, has now come up to 181. So this one is climbing, and the other has kind of stabilized. So we're going to see if that rectifies the issue. If this thing was frozen in the middle, then that center is going to take a few minutes to catch up. And turn it up to 300, it'll get that center part to heat up, but it may dry the outside out a little bit. So just keep your fingers crossed. Okay, she's on about 275 there, and we're starting to even out a little bit. Got 196 on the one probe in the end piece, and got 185 in the center. So we're getting there. Just got to get them two numbers to come out even. We'll be back. It's already 7:40. This is taking a lot longer than it should have. Okay, folks, here's where we're at. We got 201. I don't know if you can see that or not. I hate this thing not having a light on it. 194. I'm hoping that pulling it out in another degree or so and putting it in the kitchen in a towel wrapped up nice and tight will finish cooking this part. Or at least that's what we're going to hope for anyway. But I got it set on 202. When it hits that, I'm going to pull it into the kitchen. Okay, it finally reached temp. I brought it in. It's covered up. Leave it set for about an hour. Okay, I'm not going to promise you what this is going to look like when we open this up. We've let her sit about 30 minutes. I can't wait no longer. I'm starving to death. Oh, man. Oh, that smells awesome. I'm going to leave that on there. I think it's leaking underneath somewhere. Oh, wow. That's pretty. Pour this off is what we're going to do. I'm going to do it, hold on to it too. Man, that thing is smoking hot. Alright, let's see if we can find us some. These two is what we're going to try to use. Let's see how this is going to do here. Let's see what we got going on. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh, it just falls apart. Oh, wow, that's good. I'm shocked, being that I had so much trouble with it. Oh, that is awesome. See how this money mussel turned out. This is what they call a money mussel. Let me give us a piece of this. Believe me, this thing is smoking hot. It's got more fat in it down here. Man, I don't get no better than that. I gotta break this down. Josh has come to get some, so let me get it broken down and get him all of that, because he's got a little one that's got to go to bed. So I think that's pretty much got us. If I have anything different, I'll let you know. But till next time, see you. Oh, I had to show you some more of this. Look at that tube there. Look at that. I'm pulling this apart real quick so I can get some to Josh and his little one. Yeah, that just pulls right apart. I don't have the claws, the big jaws of life that they want to separate it with. But that just pulls right apart. Which, like I said, as much trouble as I was having with it, temperature-wise, I was kind of worried. But it turned out perfect. It took 14 hours, but it looks amazing. Or tastes that way too. So let me get some packaged up for Josh. So till next time, see ya.